And hey, if you've filled up on gas lately, you know how expensive it is. Oregon ranks as one of the most expensive in the nation, averaging $4.62 a gallon. The national average is sitting at $3.84 a gallon. Our Verify team looked into it, and Devin Haskins breaks it all down.
KGW viewer John Larson emailed us saying the crude oil for Oregon and Washington has come mainly from Alaska since the 1970s and is refined locally. So he asks, why aren't the gas prices in Oregon and Washington at the national average or lower? All right, John, we looked into that and found a couple reasons why Oregon gas is always higher than the national average. Our sources for this are Marie Dodds with AAA Oregon, the U.S. Energy Information Administration, the EPA, the Oregon Department of Energy, and the Oregon DEQ. Does the West Coast lack crude oil sources? While this is true, it needs context. Oregon doesn't produce oil, and neither do a couple of other states like Hawaii and Washington. Most of Oregon's crude oil actually comes from Alaska, North Dakota, and Alberta, Canada, which leads into another reason for the high gas prices. All three exporters are relatively far away, and that added expense to import means more per gallon. Plus, Oregon doesn't have any refineries to process oil. The nearest ones are in the Puget Sound region.
Anytime our region gets hit with some sort of issue, whether it's a pipeline outage or refinery maintenance, it means that our supplies have a crimp put in them and we see our prices climb.
Next, do state taxes make Oregon gas more expensive? Our Verify team found that claim is true, but it also needs context. Oregon's tax rate on every gallon is 38 cents. Cities can also add their own tax on top of that. So for instance, Portland tax on another 10 cents a gallon. The national state average is 32 cents a gallon, putting Oregon closer to the average. And finally, do state regulations add to the cost of gas? This is true. Oregon has tighter standards for the reduction of carbon emissions. The Oregon Clean Fuels program aims to reduce fuel emissions by 37% over the next 20 years. Oregon DEQ says that adds a few more cents per gallon, and about a third of the gas sold in the United States is labeled what's called reformulated.
What this means is that the gasoline, the product tends to produce less carbon monoxide, smog, toxic air pollutants. And those products tend to cost more to produce.
And if you think we have it bad, California's average for a gallon of gas is $5.82. That's more than $1 than Oregon's. Oregon, though, still in the top 5. For a more in-depth look, just head to our website at kgw.com. I'm Devin Haskins, KGW News.